Hi everyone, welcome to my channel and welcome to the special edition reading dedicated to the full moon in Taurus. That's coming up this upcoming Wednesday. So that will be the 5th of November. You can check the exact timing of the peak of the full moon online within your time zone. But I would say that this is one of the supermoons. We just had supermoon before that, if you remember, which was basically a month ago, right? 28 days to be exact. And this is this new full moon. Supermoons tend to be more intense, right? It sounds more dramatic, but it actually is, because it means that the moon is closer to us, and it means that its impact is felt even more. So you can read it as even people who usually don't really resonate with this kind of event, so they don't pay attention to them, they may be like, wow, I felt that, right? Or something was happening last night, or I don't know, I couldn't sleep through the night, kept waking up, and like was the same image in my head, or like was this voice telling me something, right? Like all these different things that people notice. Another thing I would say that this is full moon in Taurus, so it may be revealing to you certain truth around what you believe in, especially when it comes to the material life, right? What are the values for you? Because in the most direct sense, Taurus energy is about money, it's about earthly pleasures, right? Like pleasing all the senses. And I'm absolutely speaking of it as a, in an honorable way to anyone who got triggered by that. I'm a Taurus myself, so I know what I'm talking about. But what this means, of course, it goes when we talk about values, and we talk, even if you think about pentacles as a suit in tarot, it's much more than just money, right? It could be any kind of resources. It could be energy, it could be time, it could be other possessions that you have. Maybe it's even a work of art that you've created that maybe in terms of money doesn't really cost that much, but to you it's priceless. That's what I'm talking about. So you may be discovering that something that you didn't feel was important, that you had an emotional attachment to, suddenly you do, and it's like a big deal. Even if it's something in relationships, right? Like something on the emotional side. But it dictates your material life. That's where the connection lies. Or the other way around, like you used to fuss a lot about, I don't know, a certain aspect of your lifestyle that was important. And now that you're considering, suddenly an opportunity came along where that wouldn't be available. And you're considering it and you're like, you know what? Actually, it's not such a big deal. I can live without it. Right? Like that was a kind of a program. And now that you had a chance to revisit it consciously, you understand that actually it's not a deal breaker. It's fine. Because the time has passed and you have changed and you have other priorities in life and you have other values. All right, with all that said, let's get right to it. So for those who are new, the way I do this kind of readings is I will start with an oracle deck, and today is going to be the Enchanted Map Oracle. We will pull 3 cards with themes for this full moon, and then I'll switch to giving you sign by sign messages for this full moon. So we will start with Taurus, because this is full moon in Taurus, and we'll go around the zodiacal wheel and we'll end with Aries. These messages are for sun, moon, and rising of a certain zodiac sign. But I usually recommend to listen to 3 messages if you have 3 different signs for those positions. So we'll give you a more well-rounded message. But if you only have time for one, please listen to the message for a moon sign, because we are talking about the moon energy. Okay, with all that said, please feel free to like the video and leave a comment. If you're new, please subscribe to my channel. I started posting November horoscopes. I'm gonna continue posting the rest of them. And of course, I do a bunch of other things. I do twin flame readings. I do readings for other important events. Like we'll do the 11/11 reading for sure for the energy portal on the 11th of November. Okay, now let's get started. All right, so the first theme that we have apologize about the traffic because I'm actually, as you can see, I'm next to the window. The window goes out into like one of the main roads here in town, and I have my window open. Guilty. Normally it's already kind of cold this time of year, but today is actually a very nice day, and trying to make the most out of, like getting some fresh air in, because it gets stuffy quite quickly without it. So the first theme that we have is slow and steady. Really interesting, right? I mean, honestly, this is the quintessential Taurus energy. That's another thing to consider at this time, right? Because Taurus is more about, slow and steady wins the race. That's the expression, right? And that's totally the motto of Taurus. As a fixed sign, Taurus is not very good at making swift change, right? Like, it's like you need to prep Taurus for that, right? Like, let's do our research, let's sleep on it, let's see if it works, let's maybe take little steps, right? And sometimes that's the best way, honestly. You don't need to be dramatic and like jump all in on day one, right? So this is like, you're playing a long game here. So whatever actions you're taking towards what's in front of you, do a little bit of a thinking or reflection on how it matches your long-term strategy, your preferences, and your values. The second theme is talisman. Yeah, so you're being guided, and it's important to notice those signs. So your guides are basically saying, we are sending you information. You're not walking blindly, we're supporting you, we're here for you. But you need to pay attention to those. Or if you don't understand those, ask us some questions, right? So we can have that dialogue, so we can support you. It's very important right now to pay attention to signs from the universe, you can say. If you do not believe in guides or angels, or even God, right? Like, it could be Mother Earth, it could be the forces of the universe are guiding you at this time. Pay attention to what the guidelines are, or what is the message. If anyone's asking, because I'm hearing somebody asking, what is the language of those signs, right? Because it could be different. You already know. That's the answer to your question. That's the beauty of it, right? Like, I don't know, if you're connected to music, maybe you'll hear it in lyrics or a song that you're listening to next day on your way to work or something. Like, it could be that mundane, but because the universe knows that that's really the way that you can receive the messages that will be meaningful, that you can connect to, then that's what they will send, right? So you already know. And finally, we have number 30. So we actually had 3, 13, which is 4, and 30, which is 3 again. Interesting. Making a choice, right? So you have door number 1, door number 2. How do you make a choice? I've seen that, by the way, in November reads that I've already posted, both for Scorpio and for Sag, that there is a question of like being on the crossroads, and how do you make a choice? Where is it going to take you, right? And believe me, knowing where your values are and where your priorities lie right now at this point in your life doesn't mean that it's never going to change. But doing that check, understanding where you are, what's important right now and why, will give you all the information you need to make a good informed decision here. So you don't have to double guess or second guess, I'm sorry, right? It's not that difficult once you confirm for yourself what you want. And if for some of you who are thinking like, well, how do I know what I want if I'm on the crossroads and it's like there's unknown in front of me? As a person who's in a similar position right now, and I am considering like several scenarios myself, and when people ask me, I'm like, yeah, I'll be fine with this one and that one and that one and the other one. But deep down, I know which one I want. And when I'm in a meditation where I'm doing, it's a very good exercise, like a future vision thinking, or like I'm imagining that I've manifested my wishes and desires. So what does it mean? Where I am? Where am I? Sorry, where am I? I'm giving myself that challenge. And I know exactly what I want because it immediately takes me, and that's without thinking about it too much, right? My psyche is taking me exactly where I want to be out of those scenarios. And it could be one of the four, or it could be a completely different one that I didn't even really think much about. Okay, with all that said, let's get started. With tarot, I mean. But 10 minutes in, let's get started. First, I already have a first card. So we are starting with Taurus because it's a full moon in Taurus. Look at that, Two of Pentacles, crossroads and choices. Who would have thought, right? Clarified by strengths and temperance. Wow, this is huge. I mean, this is the main card, but this is the major arcana, right? So this is how you make a choice. You first of all reconcile what is courage and what is strength, what is giving you strength, and where do you show up in your strength in this, between these choices. And secondly, what brings you peace and balance, not what brings you potential for, I don't know, career, climbing a career ladder, or what brings you excitement in a relationship. Does that choice also bring you peace? Because it's just as important, if not more, actually. If anything, even on biochemical level, that's going to be a lot more, because this means regulated nervous system. And when it's all up and down, like super emotional roller coaster, it might be thrilling, it might be exciting, but it's also very draining for your psyche and for your energy overall. So this is the guidance, and you are being guided actually with the major arcanas here. You are being shown ways, but they may not be the obvious choices for what you're used to, or maybe how other people know you. And whether we like it or not, we are impacted by people in our life, whether it's our partner or friends or family members or even work colleagues, right? Because they seem like, well, that option is obviously you, right? Like, right? That's what you've been working towards for the last 5 years, right? Or as long as I've known you, you've been talking about that, but maybe you've changed and now something else comes into the picture that attracts you a lot more, right? You need to follow what's driving you now, what makes sense or what interests you now. Not what you committed to 5 years ago and now it's hard to admit that it's not you. You're not interested in that anymore. That's okay, by the way. Regardless of whether it's a person in a relationship or it's a career choice or a place of living or anything in between. That was Taurus. Now Gemini. What does Gemini need to know during this full moon? Queen of Swords, that's you, Gemini. Clarified by Ace of Swords, yep. And Seven of Wands. Yeah, so you really need to stand up for yourself and what you believe matters in life, right? And I'm hearing that for some of you, it's not going to be about your personal life. Like, it's not going to be about you, just you. It could be, I don't know, like important question of society, right? Or the way you and your peers are treated at work, or even not even, you may not even be part of that demographic, right? But you see that and you're being urged to take action or to speak up at least. And that's the quintessential Gemini energy, to communicate, to speak. The important part is, of course, to speak the truth, how you feel it. And it may disappoint people, but I would say if you're having that important conversation, this card is definitely like, you know, this person is in front of the audience, right? This is like public speaking, public performance, something of that sort. You can prepare for that. You don't have to just like wing it and improvise, right? If it matters, if it's important, why not prep for it? Why not write a speech and sleep on it, maybe even deliver it and watch it, see how you feel when hearing it. Does it represent what your intentions are, right? The Queen of Swords, you are very powerful in standing in the truth, right? This is now about speaking it. So it's not just you who knows, but you make other people aware as well. This is what's really going on, and it's important that you know it. Okay, next we'll go to Cancer. What does Cancer need to know during this full moon? All right, all right. Five of Swords, okay. Clarified by Five of Pentacles, wow. And Seven of Pentacles. Yeah, I mean, it looks like you've been through a rough patch, or for others, you are shown during this time where you went wrong with the choice of allies. That's what I'm hearing, right? I mean, I don't know, it could be in friendship, could be at work and business, could even be a partner, of course. But it's like you're seeing them for who they are, and you're like, oh my God, I've been wrong this entire time. Like, I've been defending this person, or I've been ignoring red flags, and now it's like right in front of me, like slap me right in the face, the reality of it. And it may, in the moment, it may feel very lonely. You may feel like, you know, you've been let down, that like, you know, it's like a shocking point where it's like, I don't even know who to trust anymore, that kind of vibe. But this is given to you so you can rise up and rejuvenate and start anew, right? Like, this was necessary to show you certain lessons, to teach you something, to demonstrate certain patterns, whether it's in you, in others, or both. Now that you've seen it, okay, put a pin on it, even if you're not ready at this point to go deeper and analyze all of it, right? It's fine. Put a pin on it and start fleshing out ideas and mind mapping of where you want to go next. What is it that you want, and, you know, creating that life that you want. And I would just say another message I'm getting for those for who this is like a personal relationship that's finishing, that's shocked you in some shape or form. It doesn't mean that the next move is to start a new relationship. It might be, but it doesn't have to be. Like, don't put that kind of pressure on you. Like, I've broken up with someone and now I need to find a new person, right? I need to show them and find someone as quick as possible, right? That's not a healthy energy. That will be the Five of Pentacles kind of energy, right? Like, I want to show them that it's gonna be easy for me to find someone else. I'll find somebody even better than them, right? But no, it's important for you to focus on what do you want and build from there in your own right, without relying on the other person or asking them what do they want and making it work, quote unquote. Okay, next we'll go to Leo. Leo, what is the message for Leo during this full moon in Taurus? By the way, in terms of the rituals, since Taurus is an earth sign, you may want to do something in nature with Mother Earth. Bring some gifts, maybe if you have a garden, spend time there, interact with the plants. So Leo, you have Page of Wands clarified by Ace of Cups, wow, and Eight of Wands. Yeah, so there is some kind of a new endeavor that you're starting or you've started recently, and you felt like you'd be farther along in it by now, but you're still at the starting stages. And it feels uncomfortable, right? You feel a little out of place, a little clumsy, a little kind of like, I'm still figuring this out, and like it doesn't feel good. But again, this is something that helps you understand it better, right? Like unlock what the system is, right? If it's a new relationship, it's like understand what attracts you in people, or what people find attractive in you. And then of course it's how you communicate from your heart. So that could be the most uncomfortable part, right? Being able to speak honestly in moments when you feel guilt and shame, moments when you feel angry at that other person, right? Or just generally, or even at yourself, right, for making a mistake. Being very honest about it and being able to talk about it, right? Like if it's a new job and you are an intern or something, like being able to talk to your mentor or your boss, like this is just so frustrating, or like I can't seem to get around this, or to get my head around it rather, right? And they will be able to help you, right? It's not like everyone's testing you, so you're supposed to pretend like you're strong and you got it. This is about being vulnerable. and showing your strength in that way. Okay, next, Virgo. All right, Virgo, you have 10 of Cups. This is lovely. Clarified by Magician and 9 of Pentacles. Wow. So basically, you'll find your partner. You'll be able to connect in this wonderful union with the one, right? Maybe go next level with this person. This is more about emotional fulfillment and alignment more than anything else. So it could be a new person, but it could be someone you're in a relationship with. But this is going an extra mile. So you'll be able to do it when what? When you realize your own power. When you see how beautiful and magical and strong you are in your own right. Like, you don't need this other person to complete you. It's not about masculine or feminine in this case, by the way. Right? And you know, masculine sometimes may also feel like they need the feminine in their life to complete them. For example, to take care of them, take care of the house, whatever, right? But this is recognizing what are you capable of, how you can take care of yourself, your home, I don't know, your style, I'm hearing for some people, I don't know, your nutrition, your whole lifestyle. Right? Even how you spend your time. Are you having a good time spending it on your own? Or you always looking for someone else to join in? That could be something for some of you, because 9 of Pentacles is definitely a single card. And it doesn't mean that you have to be single, but it's like, can you have fun by yourself? That you enjoy your life when no one's watching, when it's just you. Think about it and think about how you can bring more of that to your life. How can you enjoy it more, right? This could be a separate video entirely, which maybe I'll make as part of my podcast series, which I'll return in very soon. All right, that was Virgo. Next, Libra. What does Libra need to know during this full moon? The Star, clarified by the Hermit, and 4 of Cups. Interesting. So yeah, for you, I'm hearing that you are definitely getting a lot of downloads during this time, Libra, and it will be something around your mission and purpose in this lifetime, right? Maybe it will give you a connection to what you've been studying or what you went through in life, and how important that knowledge is for now bringing more light and healing and wisdom to the world. For others, it will be more around like, these are your gifts and skills, and that's what you're supposed to dive deeper into, you know, like to study it more, to unfold it more, to let it blossom. It's definitely something that could be frustrating at times, but it could actually be very healing, right? Like, especially if you don't know where to begin. It's not something obvious for you, right? But start just intuitively looking up some information, or at least like if you have some clues that aren't even connected with each other, even that you can put into, I don't know, you can put it into AI, I guess, LLM, but also like even into the browser and be like, how do I connect the dots here? Or I'm trying to find this meaning, right? Or even write it out for yourself on the cards, maybe on sticky notes, and put it somewhere in your vicinity. And one time, you know, one day it'll just connect and you'll know. But don't despair that you don't have all the answers and all the information right away. It will come to you when the time is right? But keep walking towards it, one at a time. And I love that this, both the Star and the Hermit have connection to healing energy. That it's actually healing for you, but it's showing you how essentially you can heal the world. Even if the world, again, don't put too much pressure on yourself just because I said that word. The world can mean, you know, you can start with your family, your friends, your community, right? That's your local representation of the world. Why not? Scorpio. What does Scorpio need to know during this full moon? Page of Pentacles. Look at that, another page. I like this newness. Ten of Swords. Five of Cups. Wow. Yeah, so you've been through some stuff. And it might be difficult to dust yourself up and go out there onto the stage all polished and smiling and talk about something impressive, you know, or impactful, or something that people will be able to use in their life to improve their life, where all you're thinking about is this pain and suffering, or like people living your life, or dreams living your life, or somebody letting you down, or you're running out of energy to pursue something that hasn't given you anything, right? But this is, I call this card in this particular deck, like this is like a preparation stage, right? Like she is behind, to me, she's getting ready to step on stage. And she's got all the equipment she needs, right? And but by the way, she doesn't need to be a she. It's just like the way I see, yeah, I guess it is a she in this card. It's not about gender. It's about that fresh energy where you may feel like you don't really know what you're doing. But believe me that this is, if you're coming on stage with an open heart, even if you're telling your story and it goes a little darker than people would normally imagine, you can still tie it up to what is important and how it brings you to the moment where you are, kind of revelation it gives you. So do that speech, do that performance for yourself first. And see how much, like even say everything you want to say even about this. So start very naturally with just a flow of information, what you've been going through, how you feel about it. But definitely tie it into the present and maybe even a little bit into the future. What is it giving you? What's the opportunity here to grow? And once you do that and you deliver that speech to yourself, you'll be unstoppable in front of your audience. And of course, I mean this in a, not necessarily in a direct way, it could be in a figurative way of whatever it is that your message is to the world. Because even if we're not literally on stage, we're always sending the message out with what we say, what we do, right? And the energy that we project out. Next, we'll go to Sagittarius. What does Sagittarius need to know during this full moon? And then we have Capricorn, Aqua, Pisces, and Aries. Okay, one more. Sagittarius. Wow, another Five of Swords. Look at that. Six of Cups, though. And Justice. Wow. I mean, Sagittarius. I was doing your reading just today, and there was a similar vibe there, definitely. So go check that video for sure if this resonates. But the main card here is about betrayal, is about you finding out kind of the bitter truth of like what's really been going on. Like somebody saying sweet nothings into your ear, but bad mouthing you behind your back, something like that. But look here, like this, and learning about what's been going on and breaking off from this situation, even if it seemed very promising or somehow you had been invested in it, will open the doors for a beautiful connection with someone who is honest, who is true, right? This is a soulmate vibe. It doesn't have to be romantic, but it could be. Or even if it's a friend or a colleague, you know, this will be a beautiful, brilliant connection where you're on the same page and, you know, things just happen easily. But in order to get there, you had to go through this. And time will show you why. You don't need to know all the answers. The brain wants to. But the main idea is that this was necessary, both for you to step into it and to step out of it. And also the justice will be served for this situation. So you don't need to sit in the energy of life is unfair or how do I get back at that person for what they did to me. No, leave it to God. You know, they say let go and let God, or whatever higher power you believe in. The law of karma, however you want to call it, right? Like karma will equalize, will neutralize. And if you've been wronged unfairly, then of course you'll get it paid forward. You'll get a payoff for it. And that could be your payoff, by the way. It doesn't need to come in exactly the way that, you know, whatever it was that you lost. But this is, if you ask me, if it's a beautiful soulmate connection that's coming in, that is usually life-changing, especially if it's a new person. But it could be, for some of you, it could be somebody from your past that's stepping back into your life. Like, that's so much worth it. Congratulations, Sagittarius. Okay. Capricorn, Queen of Swords. We had the same for Gemini, so you may want to watch that. Lovers, wow, and Eight of Pentacles. This is your card. This is the quintessential Capricorn. Grinding at that, studying or putting your effort in, rolling up your sleeves and doing the job, right? But right now you're asked to find out where do you put your effort in and why, right? Be very honest with yourself and be very, when you're discovering this information, right? And of course, full moon is going to be helping with that big time. But also be ready to speak honestly about it to people around you. Because you'll realize that maybe the way you are spending your energy and your other resources is not optimal to what you want, what you're interested in, what you're looking to build, and who you are. And that's fine. Like, go into your heart space. Lover's card is more than anything about making choices out of love, and make them most of all with love to yourself. What is the loving choice for yourself, right? And then see how you redirect your efforts. And what do you put in more effort into? And by the way, if, for example, you've been grinding at work and now you found out that you're actually more interested in doing some art during your free time, doesn't mean quit your job and just do art all the time. But it means that if art matters so much more than the job, then it deserves to have decent amount of your time and energy, and not like be happening once a month on a weekend when kids go to bed and you're like, oh, I have a couple of hours now to do my art, right? Like, and if on the other hand you've been doing overtime at work, then consider not doing that at least, right? Like, it doesn't have to go to extremes, but you can balance out the way that you're investing energy, in my example, into your work, so that you have more time and energy to invest into what's really interesting to you and what nurtures you, which is art in my example. Next we go to Aquarius. What does Aquarius need to know during this full moon in Taurus? Wow, Ten of Swords. Clarified by Page of Cups and the Empress. Wow, Taurus energy. You could be dealing with a Taurus, but more than anything, Taurus is about owning your potential and kind of like sitting in that energy. So this is not about trying too hard. This is not about putting in a lot of effort. It's more about acknowledging that you are beautiful, you're powerful the way you are. By the way, it doesn't have to be about gender. It is feminine in nature, that's true, because that's the nurturing and fertile energy, right? Like the creator of new life. In most cases, yeah, even in this deck, the Empress is presented as a pregnant woman, right? Because that's that part of creation, right? Creating something. Where's your creation at this moment, right? Like, do you feel potent and full of creative energy that you can embrace or embody, right? Page of Cups is also about connecting to your feelings and emotions. And you can create out of your highs and out of your lows when it comes to how you feel, right? You can turn it into creative power. You can work with it in a fun way, right? Turn things around, because this is not fun. This is not cool. This is a lot of pain and suffering and struggle that's been going on. It could be physical, it could be emotional, right? Could be relationships, could be work, anything. You've been through, like, could even be the stuff that's happening around you. I don't know, we have so many things going on in the world these days, right? Maybe it's not technically connected to you personally, but it's happening right around the corner and it impacts you in a big way. Of course it does, But this is not the time to focus on the struggle and suffering. It's focus on how can you express it in a creative way. How can you make something beautiful out of it? For some of you, it can even be volunteering to help others in need. Maybe even others who struggle in a similar way than you do, right? And it could start from your friends and family. It doesn't even have to be strangers. But of course, you can actually join volunteer groups and make a difference. And you'll see how that will turn things around for you. And when the time comes, you will understand why this was so important for your journey, for your story. Okay, next we go to Pisces. Your card is Page of Swords, clarified by Hierophant, and the High Priestess. Huge energies again. Hierophant is the Taurus energy, by the way. High Priestess is Pisces, so it's your energy. It's very interesting because these are quite different. This is more about like leadership in 3D, planet Earth kind of vibe. And this one is more about leadership in the spiritual realm, right? But your main card is Page of Swords, which again, it's like this fresh new energy of somebody embarking on an adventure. And these cards are telling you that you need both to be of this world, you know, kind of connected to the 3D reality, but also go deeper and farther and expand what you believe in and how you make your decisions, right? So learning new techniques, school of thoughts, it could come to you as a little nudge of like, okay, this type of, I don't know, psychology or therapy or this kind of connection to the higher power, whatever it is, right? Go for it, because it's gonna unlock very important gateway for you to essentially change your life, but in a good way. Embrace who you are and what empowers you, right? What makes you a better version of yourself and helps you unlock more of that gifting and potential that you have. Not just for yourself, but to apply it with people around you. Last but not least, messages for Aries during this full moon in Taurus. And I think I'm about to use sunlight, so this is actually perfect. Queen of Cups, clarified by 4 Wands, and 2 of Pentacles. We started with 2 of Pentacles, now we're ending this with 2 of Pentacles. So for you, Aries, it's very important to stay in an emotionally balanced way. It's possible that a very beautiful union, a connection is coming into your life, or is possible during this time, whether it's personal or professional. 4 Wands is about commitment. It's about something long-lasting, right? It's something that you want to get right. And maybe that's why there is a bit of an overthinking of like, do I do this now or do I wait? Do I say yes or do I say no because this is just too much out there, right? But the important part is connect to how you feel about it. And respect any kind of feeling that you're having, any kind of emotion that comes up, right? And you can dig deeper and see, okay, is this your fear or is this your intuition talking? And I know, like, I mean, I'm saying it like it's so easy to decide, right? But those are the questions you could be asking during this time. And this Queen of Cups, your intuition is like on fire, it's on point. The full moon is gonna be sending you messages. That's exactly how you're getting those downloads. So just pay attention, just be present, and you'll have all the information you need, right? But make sure you trust your intuition, not just what you see on paper in a contract or with that person where, you know, you look so good on Instagram or your friends are gushing about your relationship, right? But how do you feel about it? How does that person make you feel and why, right? Maybe they are a wonderful person, but doesn't mean that they're a perfect match for you for this long-lasting union. Right? Like, yeah, these are big topics, big questions, but that's how you start unlocking them for yourself from your perspective, not from what other people will say or think, including that specific person. Okay, I'm gonna leave it here. Thank you so much for joining me today, guys. I hope this was useful to you. I love you all. Please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to my channel. And until next time.